What's up, guys? Kevin Cage here. Hope all is well. Be sure to like and subscribe if you find some of this information to be helpful as you continue on with your own research. As always, video links are in the description. Let's get into it. So I want to kick things off with this shared by Matthew Liny. DLT, Distributed Ledger Technology, has been named a critical technology by the United States government. Notice United States government critical and emerging technologies list. Of course, DLT is listed amongst this. A lot of the, even presidential administrations, global banks, central banks have been talking about DLT for quite some time. It has been, and don't be fooled, well before the 2017 Bitcoin bull run. To me, that's just all an act and a show, but teach their own. And of course, this is right here, October 2020. You can click this document. This is on whitehouse.gov. It is about 18 pages. This is the national strategy for critical and emerging technologies. Should be no surprise the technologies listed with DLT, like energy technologies. We have AI, autonomous systems, biotech. We even have things like big data and storage. And obviously, they're all going to complement one another. Interestingly enough, we also have space technologies, your favorite word, quantum information science, all of this. So we will simply see. I'm really excited to see this. And obviously, you and I, we are here for one thing, or I'm assuming you are, but for full disclosure, I am here for a return on my investment. With that being said, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. One man's opinion. Please do your own research. And don't be fooled, even the smartest people that are building in this ecosystem anticipate that if their network gets mass adoption, that obviously the portion of the protocol, their native digital assets on that network, aka XRP, or, for example, XRP, would appreciate in value based off of demand, based off the finite supply, based off the demand to own and help secure the network. And also this type of protocol, this piece or portion of a protocol can appreciate the more that the network is utilized. There's a variety of multiplier effects. It doesn't take a genius to understand this, but just understand the assets that win most likely will appreciate, or at least their price will be adjusted based upon that demand. So we will simply see. And you guys know where I stand. I'm a big bull on XRP, of course, and any other digital asset for that matter that is providing utility. And that is much more than just a store of value. It can be a store of value, but I want it to provide utility. All right, right here, shared by Green Eggs and Ham. This is on CoinDesk. This is pretty cool. So Trump's security hawks call distributed ledgers critical in U.S.-China tech arms race. So just like we just showed with that document, we have this digital Cold War occurring. We have this currency war between a variety of countries, specifically between the U.S. dollar as the reserve currency in the world, essentially, because everything is denominated in this in terms of oil and trade and all of this. And now we have the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa straying away. We know China's working on big things with a lot of groups, the Asian Development Bank, the Asian Investment Infrastructure Bank, I believe. We have talks with HSBC, like really interesting in there, a RippleNet partner as well. All right, so all these governments that are upgrading CBDCs, bridging, interoperability, mobile networks, everything is a sign that digitization is upon us. And I want that. It's much bigger than just XRP. So the more and the faster that all these nations are getting their systems better, the better, because they're realizing how old their infrastructure is, specifically the correspondent banking network. So just pay close attention to this. Notice DLT is one of 20 focus areas on the National Security Council's critical and emerging technologies list. Go through all of this. Notice, U.S. military is examining DLT for combat operations. Remember, what was it? The U.S. Department of Defense, I believe, and I know King Solomon found it and shared it with HBAR. They were experimenting with Hedera, which is hash graph technology. This is not, specifically blockchain. All right. So really interesting. We're going to have to stay tuned with this. Now, something that I was just sharing this morning, I'm always watching R3, huge group. They also have an office in London. They are the big boys in trade finance, kind of Wall Street, the Lehman Brothers, Goldman Sachs boys. I think that they're a lot bigger and, going to be a bigger piece than many of us think. We know that they've had integrations with Swift GPI. They have Corda Settler, which can settle with XRP. And I know a lot of people, that's a sensitive topic because some people say they'll never, ever utilize XRP. So be it. I just am speculating here and drawing some dot connections. Not hype, but, just keeping an open mind. So there'll be a big player in DLT-based trade finance, not just the low value that on-demand liquidity is doing today. And obviously, this is back in 2016 when R3 meets Obama advisors at this DC blockchain event. So a lot of groups have been experimenting with this from a security perspective, you name it. Should be no surprise. We know that even Ripple employees and, Brad Garlinghouse, Chris Larson, David Schwartz have met with the Trump administration. 2018, they met with SEC or Jay Clayton. It's pretty evident to me that a lot of people are in talks, getting on their checklist to make sure that XRP is not a security, following and working with regulators. We have a Ripple office in DC. I don't know how clear it can get for you guys, so do not be distracted. Current price is not the future value. We have not seen what true utility at scale can and will do. All right. So right here, if you want to read more about this is just right on CoinDesk. And I was also reading this old article from 2015, The American Banker, and it's really crazy to see. And this was back in October. So exactly 5 years later, how far we've come in terms of adoption and actual awareness of DLT. Really, really interesting. And I just like this read, but I shared it on Twitter if you guys want to check that out. All right, next, we know that this happens, so the FSB, the Financial Stability Board, delivers a roadmap now to enhance cross-border payments. This just came out October 13, 2020. Obviously, paying attention always to what is occurring here, and notice just a few things I want to read. Faster, cheaper, more transparent, and more inclusive cross-border payment services, including remittances, aka RippleNet on-demand liquidity. Well, and I mean, that's just one of the biggest fintechs that's providing a real problem to solve the pre-funded dormant capital issues of the world. Nobody else has all the capabilities to beat an XRP killer. If you guys saw what Galgatron shared, it was a huge list. If it does not follow every one of those criteria, it does not beat XRP. So while maintaining their safety and security would have widespread benefits for citizens and economies worldwide, supporting economic growth, international trade, global development, and financial inclusion. All right, and then right here, low value payments, just think RippleNet, because obviously back in 2015 or whenever the Global Payment Steering Group was founded with all of that, and of course the former president of the DTCC, the derivatives, the big money, well over $1 quadrillion a year, became chairman of RippleNet, and yet nobody talks about that. This is not coincidental. These are power players. It's way beyond Ripple. It's a lot of their customers and big banks that are backed by Goldman. We should not be surprised one bit. So these low value payments may incur high fees as a percentage of the amount sent and face cumbersome processes, and we're well aware of that. The unbanked and individuals and firms from fragile states are amongst those who may not be able to access payment services at all. There's fragmentation and nothing is inclusive. So this is what's going to happen. They're going to be breaking down the borders, breaking down the walls. And I know you guys have watched a lot of documents that CPMI, the Committee on Payments and Market Infrastructure, have released. I believe they've mentioned, at least Ripple and XRP and XLM before. We always watch what the FSB is doing and, hopefully incentivizing these G20 leaders to kick things into gear. All right, now I want to show you this. So we have Stuart Eldorati of Ripple. As we know, he is general counsel to Ripple, has 30 years of legal experience. We've heard him go over, obviously, proof of work and energy consumption and showing why the XRP ledger is superior in every way regarding proof of work blockchains. And hopefully any Ethereum fans are going to cringe at that, but it is simply true from a cross-border payment perspective. Ethereum, yeah, awesome for smart contracts, but now what do we have with Flare Networks? We're gunning for that position as well. So the G20 realizes that our current global financial infrastructure is in dire need of an upgrade. Notice, we applaud this gentleman or the Financial Stability Board for charting a path to improve cross-border payments through public-private partnerships, bringing widespread benefits for citizens and economies worldwide. Now, why am I rolling my eyes at this every time we get a payments roadmap and it's always showing 5 years out every single time? It's because these governments, these regulators are so far behind, and the people that are really doing it are in the private sector like Ripple. So my bet is, as we say on this channel all the time, governments, they don't innovate. Leave that to the private sector. They will adopt. So let the private sector actually innovate, do well. If they have to leave the United States and go where there is friendlier jurisdiction and more technological progressive thinking, so be it. And obviously Ripple is one of those people that are doing the innovation, just like Circle, another fintech we're going to talk about. So I want to just play this quick clip. It's 38 seconds, just a little commentary from the gentleman over here.
Cross-border payments sit at the heart of international trade and economic activity.
And so notice, XRP is working on cross-border payments, the center of cross-border or international trade.
However, for too long, cross-border payments have faced 4 key challenges: high cost, low speed, limited access, and insufficient transparency. Faster, cheaper, more transparent, and inclusive cross-border payments would bring widespread benefits to supporting economic growth, international trade, development, and financial inclusion.
And obviously, you guys are well aware that DLT and permissionless networks such as the XRP ledger can solve all of those issues. Next, just want to briefly touch on this. So this is shared by XRP_Stort. This is the on-demand liquidity model, but notice that this is revised and shared at Ripple's annual event Swell. And what we see that's interesting, and I don't want to over-speculate, but we see the fund sender XRP wallet. Now, it's really interesting because we know that David Schwartz, of course, has always talked about his moon scenario and wanting, at the end of the day, banks, corporates, financial institutions to physically hold XRP. That would be a game changer in my opinion, and that is what we're all waiting for. We also are aware of the Volcker rule and the new limitations that have been reduced this month, October. We can pay attention to obviously knowing that banks can now custody digital assets. Does this or will this incorporate PolySign in any way? I've seen a lot of interesting speculation. We know that PolySign has been listed 2020. So will they be announcing something with PolySign? Will it involve Ripple's new line of credit? Will it have something to do with the collateralization of assets or XRP or the XRP ledger? Who knows? Just wanted to share this little document. Nonetheless, guys, I have full faith in on-demand liquidity despite many people. I think it's groundbreaking technology, and from a fundamental perspective, besides it taking a very long time, I'm not worried. And keep in mind, I do have confirmation bias because I research a lot and I hold a lot of XRP. So take it with a grain of salt. All right, lastly, just finishing up here, wanted to share this by Rule XRP. So we have noticed the future of money, innovative solutions for our transforming global economy. Now, a few people that are talking here, of course, we have the CBDC plus private sector. We have Accenture. Don't even get me started. We can relate them to Singapore with Project Ubin, Ripple, Digital Dollar Project. They're in everybody's, their hand is in every single person's cookie jar. A behemoth. We have DLT and digital assets. We have Citi. We have Monetary Authority of Singapore, and I know that they're in bed with Accenture. We also know Accenture is helping the real-time gross settlement system, or the real-time gross settlement of Bank of England, another paying RippleNet customer. We have Commerce Bank. We have Bank of Canada, I believe. What is it? Project Links as well. There's so many projects, but look at right here. We have Stellar Development Foundation. We have IMF right here. It just keeps going. So pay close attention to this. And of course, World Bank. So all these groups are working together. Even, the Chamber of Digital Commerce. Pay close attention to this, guys. The past, I'd say 2 years, or even last year in particular, everything is just going faster. Everything. And as an investor, a long-term investor, I am extremely excited. Why Singapore is emerging as a global crypto leader. We know that Ripple has basically said that they are looking to move to a more friendlier jurisdiction unless the United States regulators kick things into gear and they actually have clarity. We know it's a variety of countries. I'm not saying it's going to be Singapore. It can be in the UK. It could be Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, Malta, you name it. But notice, Singapore is emerging as a crypto leader and a fintech hotbed for a reason. Of course, the Monetary Authority of Singapore is in a good relationship with Ripple as always, and we know that they actively encourage the public to exercise caution and understand the associated risks before investing in the crypto. We can see, of course, Project Ubin. We know their connections even with Accenture. We know Bank of Canada, a lot of these projects, Inthenon, Project Links, there's so many, Jasper, I could just go on and I'm trying to remember what each one is, but some of them do have trials with Interledger Protocol, which is, remember, the glue to glue all these ledgers and interoperate. This is created by Ripple. The world's biggest central banks are experimenting with things that have been created by the company Ripple. This is not coincidental. We know Ripple, within a month or two of even being created, Ripple Labs, they were already meeting with the Federal Reserve. Why? Because DLT is a big priority, and obviously Ripple is amongst these fintechs that have been educating these central banks and governments for quite some time. And that is why I am quite bullish and think that they can be a very successful company. They always say that just like Amazon was initially of books and expanded into other verticals, I wholeheartedly believe that Ripple is one of those companies that has the chance to become the Amazon of payments. All right. So right here, Ubin, an initiative exploring blockchain tech for clearing and settlements. Always when I see settlement, that's what I want, of payment and securities. Remember, ILP can be any value. It is, asset agnostic. It doesn't matter if it's crypto. a stock, etc. As well as Singapore's central bank digital currency, Singapore may very well be one of the first countries to launch a CBDC and integrate blockchain technology into its payment system. And then a little more talk here as this currency Cold War begins to emerge. The question is, who's going to stay on top and be one of the emerging leaders in this space? All right. And last but not least, wanted to touch on this. So I'm always paying attention to Circle. We know their connections. If you guys have seen that one ISO family document that was made by Matt, and he is in the XRP community, he shows XLM, XDC, he shows Algorand, he shows IOTA, USDC, which is just a stable coin, so I'm not investing in it per se. Sometimes I'll have money there if I'm swing trading, but I'm not holding USDC in the hopes that it goes up in value. Just a variety of assets. So we know that USDC came to Algo as well, and now, no surprise, they're coming to Stellar. So Stellar is becoming an official chain for USDC, bringing the world's leading digital dollar stablecoin to Stellar's established and proven blockchain, ensuring a more open and interoperable standard for digital dollars on the internet. Notice CBDCs, there are two kinds. There are wholesale and retail. So make sure you know the difference and understand what XRP and even XLM are looking to do. We can talk about more about this. As we can see, they're looking to basically implement this by Q1 of 2021. So very excited to see what comes of this and who else will be integrating with USDC. I believe I've seen things with, I'm blanking on the name. I think it was Matic, M-A-T-I-C. I think that's what it was. But also just keep in mind, if you have seen that ISO framework document, it shows JP Morgan, Quorum, we know Consensus with its recent acquisition. You can look at all of these behemoths, even R3 with Corda Settler, and then we have Ripple with RippleNet. We can see all of these basically networks interoperating as well. This is what's going to happen. There's going to be a variety of assets. Not a single asset can solve every problem. So it's going to be about interoperability, co-opetition. So it's cooperation and competition. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.